Hi friends, Roxanne Steed here. I just wanted to share a couple of pages in some of my sketchbooks from some of the various classes and workshops that I've taught. This was from a class that I taught. It was a 6-week series called Armchair to Italy, and it was when our real workshop trip to Italy was canceled because of the pandemic. Actually, it's just postponed. We're actually going to be getting to finally take it this month. So I'm excited. So that's why I'm going through all these fun pictures and just looking for some ideas of what we've done before, throwing a little carrot people, practicing some words, some of the landscape scenes and these winding roads and hills that we'll have under the Tuscan sun. Door knockers, practicing little faces, statue faces. Poppy fields and some of the rolling hills in the Tuscan countryside. Some more city square scenes. So again, those were from some of the lessons from Armchair to Italy. And I have a different sketchbook. This was a Stillman and Byrne that I had painted the cover, and that was a lot of fun. Painted and varnished, so it's got a nice sturdy finish. Just showing different ways of decorating your front page. There's some little basket work, olive branches, practicing some veg and things for a recipe. We're going to have a cooking class on our trip, so and I don't know what the recipe will be, but having a recipe page in your sketchbook is always really fun. And the pieces can look sort of real, or they can be just designy looking to finish off your page. Again, playing around with the carrot people images. They're always fun. Just sometimes fun little illustrations of words, new words that you're learning. There's the door knocker again. Here's a man in the market. We're going to have a market day in Siena while we're there. That's going to be exciting. And usually when we have a market day, we all do a potluck for lunch, and then we get to paint again. Let's see. And I have another sketchbook. I was trying out different formats so I could figure out what size sketchbook I want to take with me when I actually go. So, and I teach, 2 classes. I teach a morning class and an evening class of the workshop online here in the States. And then, of course, the workshop over there is live, of course. But this way I have an idea on a map of where it is that we're actually going. A different setup of a recipe page that fits this scale of a book. And then just practicing some of these other little images and some of the words that go along with some of these carrot people. Some of the scenes. This is going to be where we're staying. A door knocker face again. So on some of the other trips that I've taken, this is one, gosh, back in Ireland. So sometimes I have sketchbooks that show just various scenes, and some of the pages get filled. Some of them are just practice doodles for me, or demos. I have a little bit of everything. Some are, a quick demo of something memorable on the breakfast table where we were. At this place in Ireland, they had beautiful flowers on our breakfast table every day. And then there was a nearby lighthouse. So I love painting outdoors on location. That's what, my workshops are based on. And sometimes, a demo might not get past the pencil stage. And sometimes I come back to it. I love big open landscapes, and the weather is always changing in Ireland. Some things are sketchbook pages of found objects, like seashells along the beach. So we had a beach walk one afternoon, and we gathered things for our page. That was a lot of fun. And of course, castles and those misty skies. They're always fun for Ireland. We had a demo of textures and various ways of painting water. Big fields of sheep. That's always fun. And the really cute town of Portmagee. That's a lot of fun. And then I love sketchbooks that have a pocket in the back so that I can store some of my goodies. This is a Pentalic sketchbook. They look like this until I covered this one with some art paper that I got at Jerry's Artorama. And I just fitted around the elastic band with some kind of a decoupage thing. So I liked having in the cover of my book, I like having a little lost and found info so people can contact me if I happen to lay my book down and lose it, which I never have, but God forbid there be the first time. So this was a fun little way to open the book. And I had one airport picture. I stopped in Dublin on the way and had a really nice breakfast. So the first page, getting into the village in France where we stayed, was a view from our chateau. And then the Peshmeral Caves. That was an exciting day. Then there's some demos. And a little kitchen chicken. And then I love simplifying small scenes that are nearby. You know, this was near our chateau. This was a town close to us in Qajar. Talked about lettering and decorating our page with letters, and then had a little color mixing lesson. Here's a wonderful town, Cord-sur-Seuil, and that was just a fun little place to sit. It was a big covered patio. I mean, a large, huge patio. It was like the whole square was covered, and you could sit right across from whichever restaurant or cafe that you wanted to. That was really fun. So I have color mixing lessons, texture lessons, demos, and carrot people. So let's see where some of the pages pick up again. Some of the little stone buildings that we have, where we were, our chateau, and a little water wheel well outside the chateau. It was interesting. We visited Bell Castle one day, and we had a little sketch time while we had some cake and coffee. And the little cat was following us around at that place. And then another day we had a wonderful view from Chateau Saint-Vier, and it looked over this whole valley. And it was just fun to see all these farm fields spreading out before us with this village way in the distance. Had a simple lesson on flowers, and then we had a lesson on Monsieur Monet, how to reproduce an iconic photo. That was a really fun class, and I was really excited to see how everyone was able to reproduce this. Then we visited some standing stones. That was pretty cool to see. And then Saint-Cyr-la-Popie. That's always a beautiful little town to visit. Great, very touristy spot, but there's always some neat areas to tuck in. And I love these roof lines and then the mountains in the distance. It's really pretty. And also in that town, there was this cute little shop. There was lots of blues and yellows in the shop, and I didn't get around to painting it in, but I loved all the flower pots and articles in the store windows and the bags hanging on the frame of the door as you went in. And then after that workshop, I took some time to go down to visit Saint-Rémy-de-Provence, and at the hospital where Van Gogh stayed, and it was beautiful there. Just such a wonderful place. The lavender and these big cedars, wonderful. And one of the squares there, it was such a neat place to sit and sketch, and it was a really memorable trip. So I, look back at my sketches with such fondness. Now, I was there for 2 workshops in a row, so I have a second book from that time. Again, I like having the info page, have a couple of pages of demos, some other high viewpoints. This was from a little bistro that was in the town of Calvignac that overlooked this river, the Lot River. And so I also have a page where we talked about lettering and some of the views around us. Here on our day to go visit Peshmeral, I brought in some of the images from some of the tourist things that they have. And then on other days, when we went back to Cordes du Ciel, I had a really fun ink sketch that I got in here. Never did get back to the watercolor of it, but, you know, I pretty much could from memory, I think. I have a demo of color mixing. On one of the days we had in the village of Cahors, there's a wonderful market day. So we had our market visit in the morning, got our produce and beautiful things for a lovely picnic there on the river. And then we had some time to sit and sketch. So I have a lesson on mixing darks and mixing greens, texture, carrot people, how to fit those into your painting. And this was the pigeonnier outside of or it was actually attached to our chateau. So it was a pretty interesting tower building. And a flower day, we painted Monet again. It's always fun. And then there's a little town called Bouzy, which is nearby, and they have, on this one bed and breakfast, there's this bicycle that sits out there. And I've painted this scene before in oils. It's really fun. It's a beautiful brick wall, and there are flowers in pots and baskets on the bicycle. They're just full of geraniums and petunias and colorful flowers. So, you know, sometimes when I'm teaching, I'll have time to finish a whole entire page, and sometimes just a partial page. And sometimes when I have some free time, I will sketch some of my students that are there with me. So that's always a fun thing for me. So, you know, I find, like I said before, my sketchbooks are some of the best ways that I find to remember a wonderful trip. And I hope you're going to find that too in your travels, that you're going to find places that you fall in love with, and you'll look back at some of these scenes and remember, oh, I remember sitting in front of this cafe, and I ordered a Schweppes agrumes. It's like a grapefruit soda kind of thing. Just, you know, your sketchbook helps you remember these wonderful experiences that you probably wouldn't remember the same way from just a bunch of photos that live on your computer. And, you know, maybe you'll remember who you had coffee with, or maybe you won't. So I find that when I sit and take the time to sketch a place that I've been with other people, especially, it is so memorable. And it's just some of the highlights of the trip. I'm looking for that big river view. I think it was in this book. It was in the other book. But that's another scene that I really loved, being able to sketch. So, anyway, happy sketching. We'll see you soon.